Good morning, everybody. Today is Monday the 16th. We're going to go ahead and do an energy reading, see what we got. We pulled an entire week in advance, as I have been doing consistently now for this entire month. So I pulled for each day ahead of time. Today's energy in advance was Othala. So we'll see what we get in terms of the actual energy for today in support of that room. But Othala basically, again, is talking about things such as your heritage and property. Perhaps, again, you're going through some type of dispute. And, well, these are things that maybe they were meant for you. Somebody else stole them. And it looks like you're going to be successful in recovering those things. So it talks about, in particular, homes, property, dwellings, your heritage. You're going to have some mountains to climb too. It does warn us about that as well, but we've been getting that consistently in a lot of the runes over the last couple of weeks. But it talks about your inherited property, okay? And sometimes that's not just the physical attributes. Sometimes it can be your spiritual heritage as well, gifts that were handed down to you from your ancestors. And I know that sounds like a little bit of spirituality, gobbledygook, but there is reality to that. Remember, you are your ancestors. If it wasn't for them, you would not be here right now. You share not just their blood, but the things that they had also accomplished, both good and bad. And sometimes our job is to dispel some of the bad things that have happened, maybe curses along the way and stuff like that. And other times, we are basically here to overcome our own shadows and then, make our bloodline that much stronger. Some people end up cursing their bloodlines because of the really bad decisions that they make, dealing especially with the darker side of things. So if you're like the Darth Vader among us out there, you know who I'm talking to, then you are cursing your descendants, and they're not going to be pleased. And this is why you're going through karma right now, and it's not going to get better until you change your ways. Now, I know some of you are going to scoff and everything else. You've worked for the dark side all this time, and you've gotten some benefits from that along the way, or so you thought. But keep this in mind. You are allowed to think those things to see who you really are, what your character really is. That's how God tests us. That's how he tries our hearts and our spirits to see who we really, really are. So if you thought that you were getting ahead and everything else because you're some kind of a master witch, you're not. I'm still here, right? So, and yes, you know who I'm talking about. And for the other people out there who may be seeing this, forgive me for this, but these people are watching me relentlessly, and I know that, and they think they're so smart. It's almost laughable. They mock me, they laugh at me all the time for the things that I say, even though I call them forward, because they know nobody's going to believe it until it becomes manifest in the 3D for everybody else to see, and it will. It will. Mark my words, it certainly is. Everything that was done in secret will be revealed. So I hope that you're at least in the process of cleaning your act up, because if not, you're going to pay the piper, big time. But, like I was saying, back to the reading, forgive me and I digress, but property of some type from your ancestry and so on is being handed down or had been handed down to you. If that was intercepted by some of the evildoers, you will get it back, trust me, and that much more. Aid in spiritual and physical journeys is also available through Othala, and safety and abundance. Again, in repetition of what we saw last week, with the both Frey and Freyr showing up for us, showing us the fertility god and goddess, showing us abundance and things of that nature. So come on. I got a new friend. There's a couple of squirrels out there. They're starting to trust me. They see me here every day. They sit there and they watch me when I play my guitar. It was pretty cool yesterday. And I actually saw an otter. He got really close too. So I'm loving this nature time. I'm getting closer with the animals and getting some peace, actually grounding myself. So, and again, I digress. Let's get back into the reading. Our past energy for yesterday was Kanaz. Now, Kanaz, again, I have tattooed on my hand. It's a creative energy, okay? It's about positivity, rapport, lust, knowledge, it's beacon, understanding, acquiring knowledge and so on, and applying it, by the way. Vision, being able to see ahead because of your wisdom gain. Knowledge, inspiration, power to create, passion, sexual love. You know how the Vikings are. They're not just out there freaking, out there burning down villages and all that kind of stuff. In fact, most of what you see on TV is garbage. They don't have friggin' horned, helmets and things of that nature, and they weren't just out there raping and pillaging. They were very well groomed. In fact, far beyond what their typical European counterparts were. So anyway, I got me a little squirrel. He's coming up here to say hello. I'll show him to you, even though it's gonna mess up everything for me. Say hello. You're on Candy Camera. Say hello. That's pretty cool, man. They feel safe with me now because I know my energy is basically, it's a positive energy. I know who I represent, and I know who basically is working with me. So, even though my enemies are dying to know, you're not gonna know. And I'm not gonna tell you. You guys, you think you're all that in a bag of chips, but trust me, in the end of this, he who laughs best, you're gonna be crying. And I'm not trying to mock you, and I do actually pray for you on a nightly basis. I do. And again, I know I need to digress, but again, I know they're watching me every single day, everything I do, everything I post. So I like to send them little messages like I have the last 3 years, which I have completely archived in another place. So I have proof of everything, just so you know. I know that you guys are all tech savvy and all that as well, so. All right, so back to this. All right, so what's the overall energy for the week? Well, the overall energy for the week is more of a neutral type of a rune. It wasn't as positive as the previous week in sense of all the good things that we all seek in this materialistic world. Now remember, a purely materialistic perspective on things is exactly what Satanism actually is. And I know people would argue with me. They would argue with me probably from a purely Christian perspective, if you will. They're not looking at it from the envelope of all the world's beliefs, faiths, including the esoteric, occultic, hermetic, and so on. And I'm not saying I'm an expert or anything of that nature. I'm saying I have read the books. I own most of those books, even some of the darkest occultic books. And I know with that actually comes responsibility, because some of them could actually harbor very negative energies. And I take precautions. I do. For myself and for the things that I own. I don't accept gifts from people, so I don't have to worry about those kinds of curses and so on. But what does the word I saw actually represent? Well, we've already talked about it in terms of meaning ice, cooling, stasis. It's an energy loss type of a thing. Basically, it means separation, focus, the need for focus primarily, a need for privacy. We all need that, right? So ill feelings also, and that could be in lieu of the potential legal battle that you're going through. I battle with that too, and I always end up praying for them in the end. Challenges and frustration. Blocks to thought or activity, including grievances. I'm giving you a little bit more information on it since we're pulling this out so much. It's obvious that God's want us to really look at this particular energy. And it's also talking about a standstill of sorts. In other words, you might be actually, in a sense of indecisiveness. You're not sure what decision to make. And we've all gone through that, all of us. So, but you're going to have to get to a point, once you've accumulated as much of the information as you possibly can, make a decision. That's what decisiveness is, making a timely and hopefully accurate decision. All right, and you want to wait for what's coming and seek clarity at the same time. So if you do already pray, and if you do already use some form of meditation, and let me know if you want to go over that. I can share with you what I do each and every day. And I practice more than one type of meditation, but I always start my morning off the very first thing before I even open my eyes. Sometimes it could take me up to an hour or more. I actually pray about aligning my chakras, all 7, starting with my root chakra all the way up to my crown chakra. And chakra simply means spinning discs. It's the energy at increasingly higher frequencies that start from your root chakra, where you're grounding with this materialistic world is, to your crown chakra, which is the highest level of resonance, vibration, and frequency, which is basically where we get our, if you will, spiritual connection, okay? You want to make sure that they're all aligned, they're all basically vibrating at their highest. There's no kinks in your armor, because there are people out there, far more than most people realize, who are attacking people who are naive, don't understand this information. I've literally been allowed to go through this from the worst to where I am at now. I don't think that this is the worst. And I'll share what I mean by that at a later date. I'm not at liberty to say right now. I'll just say that this has been a blessing for me. It has. And anyways, I don't want to digress yet again. So, but I just say that we've got this, okay? And you have to basically do your work each and every day. It's a daily thing. Just like working out your spirit or your physical muscles, you have to work on your spiritual or your energetic side as well, okay? Enough said about that for now. Now we're going to go ahead and pull our energy for today, the present, for Monday, the 16th. My little buddy's just hanging out, nibbling on the nuts that I gave him. All right, what is the energy for today, the 16th? What does my collective need to know for today, please, and thank you. All right. We've had this yesterday, the day before, and I took them all out and stirred them up, put them back in. So, Aiwass. Now, Aiwass means horse, or anything that deals with movement, if you will, okay? So that's what it means primarily. Progress, movement, future changes, trust, things of that nature. So again, it's emphasizing making a decision and moving forward with it, okay? There is no wrong decision. What happens is meant to happen. That's not to say you don't put any effort in it and do your part. You have to do your due diligence. It's like anything else, okay? So, but that's not a negative rune at all, okay? It's in the upright as well, so it's a positive rune. All right, so now let's, our past I've already given to you, and that's in the form of Kanaz, and again, that's the creative rune, okay? Inspiration, the torch, knowing, wisdom, that kind of stuff, and sharing that wisdom with others, by the way. That's part of your job. All right, now we're going to pull out some influences. What are some of the influences, please, from my collective? I think I've got a new pet. What are some of my influences for the collective? I don't know. Can I put a leash on him? A squirrel? No, I wouldn't want to do that. Anyways. Hey, buddy. See, you're back. This is a good one. All right. All right, so Aiwass. So Aiwass, spelled E-H-R-E-I-H-W-A-Z. There you go. But it's spelled Aiwass. I mean, it's pronounced I instead of Ewas. Okay? So, Aiwass. And again, it's a very positive rune. So, what does it mean? Well, it talks about the yew tree. Talks about rebirth. And again, rebirth usually follows some type of a tower or a death. And by that, we're referring to the death of a situation or a cycle. Of course, for every end of cycle, there is a new cycle that comes. And that's a positive thing, unless you're repeating a cycle. If you make bad decisions or make no decisions at all, you're going to be forced to be in this perpetual loop where you're just never going to get ahead. Never. So make the right decision. And trust me, the tests get harder as you progress up there. They do. So I want to make sure that you understand that ahead of time. It's not an easy journey. Fool's journey is not an easy journey, but it's one that we're all here to do, whether you know it or not. And if you persist, the blessings are very many. Okay, you shouldn't do it for that reason, but there are rewards at the end of this, just so you know. So again, what does it mean? It means to persevere. Okay, perseverance means quest and conflict, but it also stands for success in that conflict. I don't know if you can see it. It's hard to see these rose quartz runes. There you go. All right. And as I said, I've got 48 of them in my pouch here, and I stirred them up really good this morning, so we'll see. But that's one we haven't gotten in quite some time, so I think we got it the first week. That was it. All right. Hey, little guy. There's still a few more over here. I'm not going to hurt you. You know that. You should by now. All right, so another influence, please. What is another influence for the collective that we need to know about or be prepared for in advance? Thank you. Another influence. All right. Wunyo, but this one is in reverse. So we have the perpetual devil on one side, the angel on the other. Now, Wunyo is another one of the wishing runes, okay? It basically is about harmony, blessings, affection, desire, all the positive things, especially in relation to, well, our personal, private doings with other people, especially those we are romantic with. But in the reverse, of course, it means dissatisfaction, misery, fear, impatience, and being headstrong. Yeah, if you're one of those people that's still battling with your ego out there, blaming everybody else for your situation and taking no accountability, this rune is talking to you, okay? Get your head out of here, know what, and accept your part in all of this, in your own life, okay? Nobody made you do anything. You did it yourself. You made your own decisions. You made your bed. Now lie in it, you know? Go ahead and be a man about it, or get into your masculine energy and then go ahead and accept it, move forward. Okay, that's where the blessings come from, when you learn your lessons. Otherwise, be prepared to repeat them. It's just going to get worse. All right, last and not least, let's get some future energy. Get some future energy. Lord, come on, give me some future energy for my collective. Please, positive energy today. Positive energy. Positive energy for the collective. Thank you. All right, Agnes in the upright. Now, we've seen that multiple times over the last couple of weeks. So again, I think that the gods are definitely trying to tell us something. All right. So, Agnes is the letter H, if you will, in their Nordic alphabet. And what it means is hail. We've talked about that and the comparison of that. I'm not going to keep beating a dead horse. It talks about your limits, upheavals, risks, delays, and shadows. So again, it's echoing what we just saw with the Wunyo in reverse. You do have to make a decision. You are going to have to deal with your shadow, or it's going to deal with you, and it's not going to be pleasant for you. And I don't mean to be rude or mean. In the contrary, you have my very most in terms of positive energy and prayers for you. We've all gotten to a point where we've had to go through this and going through severe trials. And again, this, in my personal opinion, is what we're supposed to learn. It's what the Fool's Journey is all about. In the end, even the negative, or what would ordinarily be looked at the negative, holds wisdom for us. It holds lessons to be learned for us. And it helps us to move forward. I mean, look at what every single great spiritual leader of our past, you know, has actually gone through. Whether we're talking about Krishna, whether we're talking about the Buddha, we're going in historical numerological order. And, you know, 500 years after that, Christ. And then, you know, every other religious leader that we've had that was authentic after that fact. You know, they've all had to go through so much turmoil. I mean, so much. Learn the history of those particular personalities, and you will understand there are a lot of similarities. I mean, a lot of the words that Krishna uttered 1,000 years or more before Christ did, almost identical. I have the words of Krishna written on my arm here, just like I have Christ in my heart. Now, I know people will disagree, say that's not possible, and I say, well, then we'll have to debate about that at another time. I believe that it is possible. I can take the very best. I'm like the Bruce Lee of spirituality. I've taken the very best, discarded all the man-made bullshit, I believe, and I'm trying to make something that makes sense, both scientifically, spiritually, and in my daily ritual practices and everything else, dispelling all the garbage that's thrown out there. And that means also in the occult world too. So, and understanding how energy works is a good place to start, okay? But this reminds us, of course, that there are going to be mountains to climb, but we have all the energy necessary to overcome that, both in our first influence, which is Aiwass, and our primary influence for the day, which was Othala, okay? So this is not a negative room. And again, this is the energy up until midnight tonight. So you may have some decisions that you have to make, and you have to make them at some point today. I don't mean to rush you. And again, everybody's at a different place in their timeline, so I want to emphasize that aspect of this too. But for some of you, you've been sitting on it for too long and refusing to deal with the situation. It's time to make a decision, okay? That's what this is. Overall energy has been emphasizing. So I want to make sure that I don't candy coat it. I will tell you as best as I can understand and feel what the energy is conveying, what is being said here. Now, with that being said, let's go ahead and pull out a love oracle and see where at least some of you are in regards to amore. Let's see what some of you are feeling in love. Okay? Let's see. What is my collective needing to know about in love? I haven't had a love life in some time, but to be frank, I've kind of opted out personally myself anyways. I don't need those types of distractions at this moment. Nope. I need to continue to work on me presently. That way I can be the very best version of myself for my potential. And I know there will be one. Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm not a bad looking guy. I'm smart. Not to be arrogant, but I mean, I've been the number one sergeant in my entire battalion in the Marine Corps. I did things that people of 4 or 5 pay grades above me only were able to do. And as a civilian, I was an instructor for 15 years. And again, I was teacher of the year multiple times. I got in trouble because I don't put up with anybody's shit. That's why I left being a teacher. Because in my opinion, they were stealing from the students. And I just wasn't going to tolerate it. I had people there that were fresh out of high school. Some weren't even high school graduates. They were in the place of getting their GEDs at that time, even though it was a trade college that I taught at. Okay, and I taught mechanical electrical technologies, or HVAC, primarily. So I did it, like I said, for about 15 years. I worked in construction for 15 years or so before that. So, I mean, I have a colorful past. I have a lot of good things that are going for me, even though I'm going through hell right now. All right, so what does my collective want to hear about amore? Uh-oh, the runner. Oh, yeah. So this applies to somebody I know is watching me, specifically the runner. Okay, said you're a runner in a co-dependent relationship. You have a fear of intimacy, listening to ego. What is a relationship to teach us really? It's not just about having sexual rights to somebody. I mean, I know, especially in this day and age, where that's where a lot of people, feel the benefit of a relationship is. No, it's to teach you about reciprocity. And one of the most obvious and easy to prove laws of the universe. Again, balance, give and take. You're not just taking from somebody. It's not just for your self-pleasure or self-amusement. You're to give equally as well as, receive from your partner. And that's what this is intimating. Some people, they take what they want and then they run. I have words to describe my feelings on those people, but I won't share them because I'm not here to judge. I'm just here to share. So you know who you are, and I know at least one person out there watching me that this does apply to. Okay? Reciprocity is essential in any relationship, whether it's raising your children, whether it's a relationship with your mom, your dad, whether it's a relationship with your lover, whatever title that actually holds for you, maritally or otherwise. All right, today we're going to find out also what the hidden oracles have to say to you. And this can come in ways of just getting your act together, your job or lack thereof. It could also talk about love again. It could talk a lot about different things. We're going to see what energy comes out here. And just telling you, they're so stiff and hard, man. These aren't typical cards. They're like 10 times harder or stiffer than a regular deck of playing cards when they're new. That's why they're so hard to shuffle. I'm not even trying anymore. All right, so what does my collective need to see? Let's see. Oh, well, somebody's out there very attracted to you. Maybe somebody's attracted to me. I'm a weirdo, but I'm just me. Oh, just on that particular aspect, I want to share something I learned, with the last couple of months about energy in particular. It has been discovered recently in terms of cymatics, or discovery of, frequency, resonance, vibration, sound in particular, that the actual trait, attribute, or characteristic of authenticity is 400 times more powerful than even love. We've all thought that love was the highest possible vibration. It's not. Authenticity is. Being who you were truly created to be in spite of what everybody else out there wants you to be. If you're not brave enough or courageous enough to be who you know you were meant to be, then you are in a low vibration, my friend, no matter what you want to believe. That is fact, and now it's scientifically backed up. So I wanted to share that, and I also wanted to share that's why I'm a weirdo. I am. At times, I'm a weirdo, and that's okay. You got to keep things as light as possible, because this world will swallow you up if you don't learn how to find the humor and the positivity in things. So, and I hope to help some of you out there to do just that. It's one of the hard-won lessons that I've had to endure to get to this point, and I'm still having to endure to get to the other side. But it's been an honor for me, because I truly do believe that God only gives the hardest lessons to those that have the greatest potential, if you will, fate or blessings ahead. So I'm really, really hoping for that to be a reality truly in my life, manifested in reality. I know it will be. Okay? I don't know exactly what that means 100%, but I know I'm walking in my life's path, my life's journey. I've been told that multiple times and gotten verification on that multiple times on my own. So I know that to be true. So, and I pray that each and every one of you find what your authentic self is, who it is, that you get into your life purpose, since that is what every one of us is here to discover. And you can do that by what is it that drives you? What is it that is your passion? What is it that, no matter what else you're doing for a job or your relationships or whatever that you're good at or you feel inclined to do, is it have something to do with maybe you're good at helping people, for example, giving them really good advice. Or maybe you're good at just being a shoulder for people to cry on and a good listener. Those are gifts, and that may have something to do with what your life purpose is. Maybe you've always been a musician. you've always wanted to play, but maybe there's always been one thing or another that's always gotten in the way of that. Follow your life path. I'm giving a homeless guy who's become my friend recently, an ex-con that I met while I've been out here in my journey, who has worked in the music industry, and he's known some of the greatest. And I know he's true because I played guitar with him several times. He writes his own songs just like I do, and he's very, very passionate. And I'm learning from him as a result of that. I'm gifting him one of the 2 guitars that I brought with me on my journey. And I wrote in a message to him and everything else. Of course, I did it in Runic because that's who I am, yo. I'm a Viking, and I know it. But anyways, I know Viking is more or less a title. It's not necessarily, a blood thing per se. Yeah, they have people from all different types of heritages that were actually Vikings who went out there and, did what they did. But my ancestry is literally covering all of Europe, literally all of it. Again, from, the westernmost parts of Russia all the way down, from the places of Norway and Belgium, Germany, all of those regions, all the way to down south and the northern and southern parts of Italy, Greece, near the Turkish border, all the way west as far as Scotland, Ireland, England, and the Americas, if you will. So, and down south to Spain. So I have literally blood everywhere, and the only way that would be possible is if my ancestors got around, and got around. You know what I mean? So that's pretty awesome, yeah. So anyway, now I'm going to leave you with that. We went a little over 30 minutes, which means this is going to take forever to download. And I leave you with, the utmost blessings. And again, if you ever have a need to speak to me or talk to me, just leave a, something of a message down below. If you ever want to do it in private, I'll give you my actual email. We can talk and so on. But for the most part, that's all I have for you today. And the energy is overall, it's just, I'm not going to say it's neutral. It's still very positive. But you still have your part to play in this. You have to make a decision, and you have to go forward with that decision, and you have to accept responsibility for your life and for your actions, okay? And if you need prayers, whatever you need, just let me know, okay? And I say God bless, and I will see you all tomorrow. Bye-bye.